Fletch, thank you for joining us here on another episode of XCW Freetime Interview, and I have a very special guest alongside with me. As of this recording, he is the current XCW champion. We're talking about Psycore. Some maybe even call him the Beast. Little Easter egg there.
Maybe.
So, Psycore actually had an interview, a Freetime interview, in 2009 alongside James Keane. Yep. But we're revisiting it. We're gonna go through the same questions, and we're gonna see how Psycore's answers may have changed, or how many of them stayed the same. So it's gonna be a little interesting going down memory lane, and maybe even get a little detail as to maybe why you thought the way you did, or how things are these days in 2021.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this started. So, right off the bat, who is your favorite XCW superstar to watch?
To watch, I'd probably either say you or going old school, Cynical.
Yeah, I think that's a common answer, of course. I mean, Cynical was, in my opinion, ahead of his time. I feel like if he would have been in XCW today, man, he would. I mean, he was a top star then. Imagine what he would bring to the table with today's group.
Yeah, it'd be good.
And then, of course, myself, I think a lot of that plays into, in the ring, I'm pretty charismatic. I'm very character-driven. Yes. And so, with that, you could even have some lack of skill as long as you've got kind of a character to build off of that. Of course, your original answer was actually Cynical.
Okay.
So things kind of stayed the same. But on the flip side of that, talking about people you like to watch, you're an active wrestler yourself.
Yeah.
So who in XCW do you prefer to work with? Who's your favorite of all time to work with?
Man, I've worked with a lot of people.
Yeah, spanning 2004 to current. That's a hell of a list.
Two whole different sides of everything.
You're right.
Honestly, I liked working with Brandon.
Hobbs, yep.
I would say you, but not really you.
Yeah, I think we've only worked together a handful of times. Never actually had a full singles one-on-one match. So
nope. Yeah, to work with, I really like Brandon. That was probably, Cynical, Chris, all the main people from the older day. I didn't really even care to work with Roddy, just because of.
For those that don't know the behind the scenes, we're talking about Hazard, Kenny Hazard Chaos, whatever his moniker was at the time. Your original answer actually was me, and I think that was spawning off of, just a couple years prior to that, you and I worked together, me as the character Nightmare. That was a little bit of interaction that the two of us had. We started Tortured Souls together. So your original answer was me, and obviously that's differed as over the years you've got to work in ring with a lot of other people, and we have yet to really tangle in the ring. So I can see where things would differ there. Now this one's pretty broad. And I know that your memory's not the greatest, so this is going to be tough.
I've had a lot of minutes.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of minutes.
So with that being said, what is your favorite? This is going to be tough. What is your favorite XCW show in history? Does any show in particular come out to you and you're just like, man, that show was it?
Oh. See, and this is where we go. I separate everything from the old days to the new days.
Sure.
As a personal favorite, I always watch and critique my own work.
Sure.
So most of the shows, I may not watch fully, but I'll watch every bit of what I do. There's some shows that I have seen all of, like Summermanias and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably Summermania. What was it? Last year, 2020.
Match with Stevie Goble, which you actually kind of dreaded going into the match. You were like, man, like I wish I had something better. And I'm like, come on, man, like trust me. I think this is gonna work. And you're like, I'm skeptical. I don't think and then it worked, and you're like, well, I'll be goddamn it.
But now, let me tell you why I was so skeptical.
No, you had every right to be skeptical. I'm just saying.
It was the show beforehand.
Okay.
He missed a clothesline spot. How dumb do you got to be to miss a clothesline spot? That's all I'm saying.
He's never punched a mat. I mean, he's never. So with that being said, I mean, the worst things have happened with better wrestlers.
I think Brogan's number one on that one.
Well, yeah. So, like, I mean, the worst things have happened for better wrestlers. Stevie, I don't think, has gotten enough credit for the things that he can do. He's a punk machine.
Yeah.
He's a sell machine. He's not exactly, like, he doesn't have a strong moveset. He doesn't have a strong character. Or he's not, he sure as hell can't cut a promo.
No,
but the man can go out there and get the job done. Yeah. And I had that confidence. You didn't. You were skeptical. And that was fine. And I would have expected that from anyone on the roster. And
that might be why I like that.
Yeah, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
So, your original show that you said was Halloween Havoc 2008, and I'll refresh you as to what that is. That was the first time that you come back after winning the Golden Gloves. And you were in a match with Zero, who was just coming. It was his first match back from that car accident that damn near killed a guy.
Yeah.
And then you were in. Also, it was a debut in Brandon Hardcore Hobbs. It was a triple threat. We did a birthday party.
I remember that.
And that was Halloween Havoc 2008. That was your original answer. It's like one of your favorite matches and favorite.
And the reason I probably said that before was because we were in front of an audience, like a different audience.
Yeah, and it wasn't a normal wrestling audience. Like, they weren't smart to anything wrestling, so like...
We could make it look dumb.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't so much that, but like, we had to go out there and work to grab their attention. And I mean, some of the matches on this card were just fucking mind-blowing.
Is that the one where you got smoked in the head with the guitar?
I did.
Yes.
So, I mean, we had three triple threats as the main event. This was our first show after the farewell show that was the end. So, like... When we come back, the three main events were a triple threat for the international title, which would have been Rob Slater, Hazard, and Genocide, an all-star lineup.
Yeah.
And then a triple threat between you, Brandon Hobbs, and Zero, an all-star lineup. And the main event was a triple threat ladder match for the XCW title, which was myself, Cynical, and Chris Jones. Right there, those three matches sold that show alone. Yeah. And by the end of it, that crowd was hot.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a very memorable, very good show.
Yeah.
Now, to the flip side of that, what in your opinion would have been the worst? Is there anything that stands out and you're just like, this show's the shits and there's no coming back from it?
See, I feel that way about a personal experience. I don't know about a whole show.
Share both.
Personal experience was my first XCW title match, which we've talked about.
The one with Kenny Hazard Chaos.
Yes.
From, that would have been Cold Day in Hell.
2006.
2006. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't know. I didn't like anything
Man,
about it.
that match, though, there's a spot at the end where you have the barbed wire bat and you hit him in the head and, like, Hazard,
the hair
he's bald. Like, he's
hair.
always bald. And for some reason, Hazard had, like, almost a full head of hair in this match.
Yep.
And you hit it and it stuck in his hair. I don't know why.
Yep.
That's so memorable.
Yep.
Other than that was also when he came out and the dogs were fucking in the store.
Yes. Yes.
But nobody's paying attention to our XCW champion that he's making his way to the ring. We're all worried about the two poodles that are fucking in the next yard. But anyway, yeah, anything stand out to you particularly for worst show?
Here currently, I'd probably say the one that we did next door.
Yeah, it would have been Emergence 2020. Definitely a rocky show. You were in a tag team match.
Yeah,
I believe with Corey Lee and
I was with Brogan.
Yeah, with Brogan, and you were going against Stevie Goble and Corey Lee.
Yeah.
The final show before SummerMania, which you, oddly enough, said was one of your favorites.
Yeah.
So some highs and lows for 2020.
Yes.
Your original answer, though, was Halloween Havoc 2004, which makes sense because that was the first show you had ever missed in XCW.
Yep, because I was at the party waiting for you guys to show up. That's exactly why. And you guys told me to go.
Yeah.
And to wait and be part of the second part.
Yeah, because we were going to do... Yeah, so the story behind this is Halloween Havoc 2004. We filmed the show, and then we got invited to a birthday party show. It was a Juggalo birthday party.
Which I am not a Juggalo, and I don't have Fago sprayed on me.
No. See, I did that night. It was bad. But anyway, so then what had happened was the main event of Halloween Havoc seen Chris Jones and Cynical, and that was the first time that there was a flaming table, and they're in a ladder match. Well, when Cynical went to grab the title down from
his finger,
the top of where the belt was hung, it slit his finger really bad. He had to get a bunch of stitches, plus he had just been damn near burnt alive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got burns on his back, and his hair's singed, and his finger's cut, and like... So he's in the hospital, and of course, Chris is guilty for it, and then, everybody kind of spread out. So we ended up not having enough guys. I think it was myself and Disciple and a handful of other guys that ended up making the party. And by then, we got there late because of all this stuff was Cynical, so, things didn't pan out the way that it was supposed to. So,
but there was a cool fist fight there. I saw that.
Yeah. Yep, I remember that too. My personal opinion, I'm going to go ahead and share that. I think it's interesting. It ties into us, and that's why I want to share it. So in my personal opinion, I think the worst show in XCW history was Living Dangerously 2005. It took place on State Street. We were depending on this guy named Trent to give us a place to wrestle, and for whatever reason, we drop our stuff off, ready to go. All right, man, we'll be there. It's November 2nd, something like that. And we arrive, and the guy literally moved out of the house. And we had nothing. Luckily, a guy that we went to school with, Zach Goodwin, and Zach Buster, were next door. It was one of the two of their houses. And they're like, throw it down right here, let's go. So we ended up shooting a show, but we had no electricity. We had no way to play the music. And we didn't have all the fancy shit now
the headphones right up against the camera.
Well, yeah, so we're going to have headphones and stuff. We're playing off of CDs to put next to the camera so that we had music. Because, we didn't have the stuff that we have now with post-production.
Right.
So we're like, we just got to make the best of this. We already got all of our shit there. All the guys are there. We've got to make this show happen.
Yeah. And
there was a fatal four-way between Chris Jones, Psycore, Cynical, and myself. And the winner would face the XCW champion at Cold Day in Hell 2006, which would have been you. You ended up going against Hazard for the title, which is what you alluded to a little bit ago.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, that was by far the worst show. It was the absolute shits. Nothing happened right. And soon after that, we went back to our previous location. So, yeah. I just thought I would share that because that was actually the only time that Fletch and Cynical had been in the ring at the same time.
Yeah, and that, when you speak on that, I do remember, like, back then having to rush to get to that show, like, to hurry up, get it done, blah, 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 like, in, out.
Yeah, because actually you were driving the green Tempo at the time. And if you watch, like, we filmed the main event first. So I'm hot. I'm fucking pissed because nothing happened the way it was supposed to.
Right.
So you like your car's parked there and we're coming through there like it's part of the entrance almost. And then the rest of the show it's not there. So it's like so it doesn't look right. It's like it looks like you kind of showed up in the main event, did your shit and left.
That's kind of what happened that day.
But in actuality, like it was opposite. You were there first, we shot, and then you left. Then we shot the rest of the show.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, the show is fucked shits. Don't go watch it. This should be a simple answer, probably the same. How'd you get your start in XCW?
Science class, 9th grade. You and Robbie Wynn,
which Cyrus.
Yep, Cyrus. I was getting ready to think about what his name was. I would have never gotten it.
He actually debuted as Dr. Payne, but he later came in as Cyrus.
God, somebody so little causing pain?
Yeah, well, it was Payne, Payne. Interesting, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So it was almost like a play on words.
Yeah.
Clever on my part. But anyway, science class.
Yeah, science
DTC
class.
was also in the class.
Well.
Kind of.
He got kicked out.
He got expelled, we stuck him back in. But regardless.
Yes, just for that class.
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys just started asking me about it and talking to me about it, you know.
We just so happened to be watching the core on TV that day.
Yep.
Because our teacher was lazy, I guess.
Yep. And he told me to come up with a name, and for some reason, I don't think I've ever actually watched the movie Psycho. And I couldn't get that out of my head for anything. And then we were watching the core.
Yep.
So Psycore. And
absolutely.
That was my name, and hasn't changed yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting, right?
That was creative, right?
Yeah. So, and with that being said, I mean, you would debut soon after that. We were on a trampoline. Please, like I hate revisiting those moments.
Yep.
The trampoline is so bad.
Yeah.
But you make your debut, and I mean, within the first few months of your XW career, you were already XW Power Champion at the time. Later became Extreme, now Hardcore. So you made a name for yourself pretty much right off the bat in XCW. But out of all those years, what in your opinion would have been your biggest moment in XCW? Overall.
Oh, geez. My biggest moment.
And you're thinking of this more in a character standpoint. Like, what was the biggest moment for you as an on air, in the show?
Honestly, I don't remember ever doing like a whole bunch of promos back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I think like really when you started, we weren't really in the promo era.
No.
We didn't really start incorporating promos heavily until 07, 08.
Right. And I was only around for a little bit longer in that time period. Then I left for a little while and I came back.
Sure.
So that being said, I would honestly say that it was me being GM. Because it gave people more of an insight to who I'm portraying or who I am.
Right.
You know, it gave them more of that personal feeling.
So, I mean, you only missed one show in 2004. 2005 became a little more sporadic. It's when you were going through some of the issues with your nephew dying at the end of 04 into 05. That kind of set you back a little bit. You and your brother were working alongside each other at the fireworks store in 05. So 05, 06 are a little shaky. You're kind of in and out. You kind of disappear for 07. You come back in 08. And that
Skinny.
Was the farewell
Came back
show.
Skinny.
Yeah, we used the Golden Gloves thing as like your character resurgence.
Yep.
And you're around until mid of 09, and that's when you met your ex-wife, and you guys started building your family in 2009. And So you moved, further away. So things kind of spiraled into real life. And you took an absence in 2009 from XCW, and you didn't you were sporadic in, coming back. You came back a little bit in 2010, reformed the VK3 alongside myself and Chris and Genocide, and how all those things happened. And then shortly after that, you kind of took your leave once again. I think, you had a couple matches. And then pretty much we didn't see you again until you came back in 2018 as the general manager. There were sporadic appearances and stuff. So
and I want to correct you on something, because back in the day you always kind of bragged about this. In the 04 season, I did not miss one show.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
So that was
the only show that you had missed, like I said, was Halloween Havoc 04, which was literally the second to last show of the year. And and
that was only because you told me to go over there.
Yeah.
Or else I would have been there.
Yep.
For sure.
So your original answer was your debut, which obviously you've done a lot of things since then. You wrestled Wolf Hunter, so that's probably not a career highlight. But with that being said, so your debut wasn't exactly what you thought, but what do you think was the turning point in your XCW career? Was it when you became general manager, or do you think that there's something else that happened along the way that was really the turning point that made Psycore Psycore? What made Justin Psycore? What was the turning point for you?
Honestly, I think it was all the stuff going on screen and off screen, at the shows or around the shows. Been talked about pretty widely. The incident with myself and Chris Jones, like some of the hardcore stuff that happened in the middle of the match, me knocking him out with a stop sign, decapitating Lucifer with the stop sign.
One of my favorites.
The Brandon Hobbs stuff.
Sure.
That was hardcore. So I think it just kind of built like an aura of...
And I think you'll agree with your original answer,
like
too.
Not giving a shit, I guess.
Yeah, like your original answer, you felt like your biggest turning point, what really set you apart, which really, got you to the point that you are, was when you came back in 2008 and you had that feud with Brandon Hobbs and you wrestled Cynical for the first time, and then I think you had maybe a small little thing with like Vapor, I think it was, for a little while, and then you were kind of in and out with myself and Stephen Raines and Brandon Hobbs. So your 08-09 was kind of what you were thinking was a big turning point for you at XCW. Now, we've been talking about it this whole show. Obviously, you've been here since 2004, 18 years. What's the worst injury, and there's more of these nowadays, what's the worst injury you've sustained since coming to XCW?
My shoulder. By far the worst pain I have ever felt, and by itself it took about 2 months for it to actually kind of mend. And there's still some screwed up stuff in there, some bones sticking up that probably shouldn't be.
And it's strange too, because I feel like out of everyone within XCW, I feel like over the years you were the person that got hurt the least.
Which is crazy.
You and Corey Lee were like the two that throughout all the years of XCW, like Corey Lee debuted in 09, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like there was no injuries, not even a little minor injury, and you were the same way. And in the last couple of years, both of you have kind of been on a bad spiral of weird, and it's usually nothing big. It's usually like weird circumstances where, like Corey, when he tore his ACL, literally just the person was leaned up against him, and he just dropped a knee on their back, and that was it. And
same thing with DJ. Running across the ring from corner to corner. You see it.
Yeah, so your original answer was that you did a swanton off of the ladder to Brandon Hobbs and hit your head. Yeah. But I have one, and I don't know if you'll remember this or not, but I want to bring it up. So in 2004, Viewer's Choice. It's actually the same show that you got in a fight with Rob Slater.
Okay.
So
no, none of that hurt.
Well, no, okay. So we filmed a match between you and Vapor for the International Championship. And then we had the Battle Royal following.
Yep.
And you and Vapor were, of course, both in the Battle Royal as well. But you were the International Champion going into the match. You did something within the match with Vapor. And at the end of the match, you're just laying there going, I think I tore my groin. I think it's so fucking funny going back and watching it now. But you're dead set that you tore your groin.
I have just no clue.
I want to say it might have been on your swanton, and like your leg split out too much when you took the bump.
Oh.
But yeah, I just
I'd have to rewatch it.
Yeah,
but that makes me want to rewatch that.
It exists. It's funny. It is funnier now. Well, on the flip side of that, what's the worst injury you think you've ever witnessed during your time in XCW? And there's been a lot.
Will Smith. Poor feller.
Yeah.
It may not have even been like the initial impact, but the sounds he made afterward, it was bad. Like you could just tell.
Yeah, and
he was in pain.
Again, I mean, that was one of those freak accidents. Like the ladder it wasn't like all the way done. Like you have the two arms on each side. One was up, so like the ladder wasn't laying flat. And
normally we have somebody holding the ladder.
Right. So it's like this weird circumstance of how things like none of that was what would normally be. So yeah. So
not at all.
Weird shit.
But that was odd.
Your original answer was a light tube shot.
Yeah.
Of course, the famous, and you were the referee.
Yeah,
and what can you recall from that?
Man, I remember him getting busted in the face.
Yep.
And in my head, I was like, that just did not just happen.
Yeah.
And he like put his hands on his
2 or 3
knees.
inches from his eye.
Not even. I mean, that's like an inch. I mean, that's why, guys, we count all inches. When he put his hands on his knees and he turned his head, it was just a waterfall spewing out. And that's when I think the camera caught me.
And it sucked too because we were in a last man standing, so we couldn't just do like a quick 1, 2, 3. Like he had to just lay there and bleed while you counted 10.
Yeah. And as much as I wanted to just be like, this is done, it's over with. You guys were down to having me count, so.
And yeah, Chris was gung ho. Let's keep this going. So, and that match was just brutal in general. Like, if you remember, I don't know if you remember.
I remember the glass in the hand.
Well, there was that, but then there was also there was the 2 chairs laid up, and there was the light tubes across them. Well, I was going to take the flat. Yes, I was going to take a flat back bump in the middle, and I actually hit a chair.
Yep.
And I hit the chair so hard on the bump that it flipped me over. So I landed in all that glass, and I was cut all the way around me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
The one thing you talked about afterwards was that damn glass in your hand.
Now that fucking hurt.
That was it. That was it.
Interesting here, especially coming off of that. Was there ever a time in XCW where you're just like, nope, fuck this, I quit? Just every time you wanted to quit.
The closest time was when I hurt my shoulder, which we had talked about. I really didn't think it was going to be what it is now. Being able to have full range of movement with it was a far-fetched thought of how it felt that next day.
Right. And I had a similar injury in 2017. I kind of I didn't really do anything, but tried to help you through it. Like, hey, this is the experiences and this is how it felt. And you're like, holy shit, it's the exact same. And then it's to this day, it hurts at times, but it's not really a problem. So I ease your mind a little bit, but hey, sit on this for 2 months and you'll be all right.
Yep, that was the first thing you said.
Yeah. So, and I try to give you some ice packs and all.
Yeah,
the
and I
shit
still need to
so
get that back too.
Nah, it's all right.
All right, well, I'm keeping an ice pack here. Here.
So let's talk about gimmicks. One thing that I have always felt like you're not. Psycore is you. So it just turned up a little bit. What, in your opinion, was the worst gimmick in XCW?
The killing Kevin Kramer, that was terrible. I mean, him just as...
And in bad taste. So.
Yeah, that's kind of why I do it, because it kind of pushes the envelope. If we took him completely out, the worst gimmick... honestly, what was Knuckles' gimmick? Exactly. That's
no,
why
he was a Canadian, and a Canadian cruiserweight. I mean, he was coming in, and
he didn't have much of a story, though.
No, but that was really when we were trying to develop the cruiserweight division. So,
right.
So I mean, it was more about the weight class or what he was doing
and
at the
not
time, more so
the character.
Yeah, because we had the character already in the group of LOL and Grim Reaper. So then, I mean, we had the Joey Cades and the Daniel Pierces and Blaze and Rage and Nick Klaus and Cash.
See, I just
and they weren't really
like,
and like, so they weren't really character driven because we had like LOL and Grim Reaper, and then your original answer was Joker.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. He's a jobber.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a jobber.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Flip side of that, what's the best gimmick you've ever seen?
Well, Brogan does a good job.
I agree.
He might be from Australia, but he does a good job.
Man, he's going to have kangaroos at SummerMania. So.
I wonder if we can have like a little pouch.
Yeah.
Pull like ETC right out of there.
Well, I was going to say just like that's his beer pouch, but.
But he doesn't drink.
He's Irish. He drinks.
Off screen, he don't drink.
Yeah.
On screen, he might drink.
Yeah.
He might drink.
Yeah, he does. So Brogan, you think's best gimmick you've seen XW?
Yeah, he goes with it the most.
Your original answer was Kenny Has a Chaos, which is weird because I don't really. I mean, I guess as Kenny Chaos, he did have a character where he did the shaking the hands and the straw hat,
and the sanitizer. Yeah. Yep.
So, with that being said, I mean, you beat Kenny Has a Chaos for your first title, and that's a big match to prepare for. I mean, you were in the barbed wire table. That was the first barbed wire table we'd ever done in XCW history. But, I mean, you've been in all these crazy scenarios in XCW over the years, including even recently with Brady Branson. What do you do to prepare for a match? You're going to love your original answer, by the way.
Well, it's probably the same thing I do now.
So, I doubt it.
So, I mean, which I'm going to be starting to quit smoking. But I'd always have a cigarette. I'd just get into the mind frame that there's a fucking bucket. Everything I have is going in it.
Yeah. Chuck it in the fucking bucket and move on.
That's it.
Yeah. Used to say that when we worked together.
Yep. Wendy's?
Yeah.
Taco Bell?
Yeah, both. All of them.
Yeah.
Chuck in the bucket. Yeah. I fucked up. Chuck in the fucking bucket and we'll move on. Because there's a waste bucket, you know.
Yeah.
And you have to count at the end of the night. I'm like, chuck it in the fucking bucket.
Yeah.
Your original answer, funny enough, was that you did not have sex the night before a show to conserve your energy.
Hey, fat guy's gotta live.
I know. Yeah. I also don't have sex the night before shows. Or the rest of them. But, so, I found that very amusing that was your answer from, I mean, we were much younger when we did these,
yes.
So, like, it was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not telling you what all went on the night before, you know, but it was not sex.
Okay. So, with that being said, do you have any pre-match rituals? I know you said, that you usually smoke, clear your head, whatever. But do you have anything that you do pre-match? Certain stretch, or is there somebody certain you talk to, or anything ritual-wise that you do every single time?
No, absolutely not. And that's just the type of person I am.
Originally, your answer was smoke a cigarette.
That's about all I got.
That pretty much lines up.
Yeah.
So, here's an interesting one. Here's an interesting question. Who's given you the worst chop you've ever received in XCW? And I can't recall you taking too many chops. I kind of feel like people don't want to give you a chop, like they're going to get their ass kicked. They're probably right. So,
Brandon, maybe? Brandon Hobbs?
that dude can chop.
Yeah. And I don't think it was in XCW, but I think it's one of the times where all of us were hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's...
Yeah, I've been chopped by him plenty of times. I've even been chopped by him as Dorgon. He does a double hand bullshit.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Brandon, for that.
I still want to get your dad to chop me.
Oh my god.
I want to get your dad to chop me.
Yeah, he chopped Chris Jones once, and Chris hit the fucking floor.
Yeah, I heard.
Your original answer was Hazard, but that's because he's got sausage fingers. So
Yeah.
His fucking hands are this big.
Yeah.
In your opinion, obviously the chop's not a move. So, in your opinion, what was your favorite finishing move, like in XCW overall? Don't say psych out.
Oh, I was going for it.
No, yeah. What, in your opinion, is the best finishing move?
I used to like your suicide effect. I don't even know if you still do it.
On occasion,
but
I do.
That was the thing back in the day.
It was huge. I think it won best finishing move of your choice like 2 or 3 times, and it's one of the reasons why we took the category out. So I'm like, damn, my shit just wins every year, so I just stick it out.
It was a good move. It was a good move.
And everybody loves my shit now. That's Brogan.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, cool. Yeah, we're gonna do the final breath, right? I guess. And DJ, the same thing. He's like, hey, don't just jump me in the peep show. Make sure you give me final breath. Okay. Your original answer was a Cyclone, Tommy Merriman.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Speaking of DJ Tommy Cyclone, like there's a Ground Zero from 2020 where that dude spun 10 times and threw fucking DJ in the air. Check that one out.
It was like pizza.
Yeah, XC Wrestling one on YouTube. Go look that one up because that was awesome. Now this is a really fun answer or fun question that I really like to get a good answer from, and that is, all of us grew up watching wrestling, and I know. I used to go to your house all the time, and you had a bunch of recorded tapes of what you and your brother Jeremy watching old ECW shows.
Oh yeah.
You and Jeremy really turned me on to ECW, where I was always the WWF mark.
Yep.
And then you're like, nah, you gotta watch ECW.
Yep.
So you really turned me on to the ECW product. So I have you to thank for that.
And it's more of a hardcore product, which kind of fits with.
Well, it's just there's crowds chanting gutter slut and smoking cigarettes and dumping beer and bleeding. It's fucking crazy.
Sounds like a Psycore show to me.
Yeah. So, with that being said, who was your biggest influence wrestling-wise? Like, what wrestler stood out to you over the years that you were just like, that was the influence that wanted to have you get into this? And I know that you're more into UFC, that's more like your pace, more so than pro wrestling. But what there had to been a wrestler growing up, especially in our era, the Attitude Era. Who was your influence growing up?
My favorite all along was The Undertaker. That is the one person who I stood by. That was him. But then you start getting Mankind. Mm-hmm. And Mankind, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe he came out right after the ECW stuff got real big.
Yeah, so in '95 he came to ECW, and that's when he was wrestling there for a brief time, and I think him and Mikey Whipwreck were tag team champs or something. And then there was a guy in the front, he was a baby face when he came in as Cactus Jack.
Yep.
And there's a guy in the front row that had a sign that said Kane Dewey. Well, that was Mick's newborn son, Dewey.
Oh.
And that's when he started cutting the promos about where you remember the promo, he's hardcore.
Yeah.
And then, like, he talked about how the crowd turned on him for Kane and Dewey. Like, oh my fucking God, the guy is great. And then, like, that promo is what led to him getting hired by WWE. I just didn't know if I wanted to share that.
No,
I knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But, like, so I was already in, like, the hardcore phase of, you know, watching people bleed and, like, getting used to seeing blood. Mm-hmm. New Jack was in ECW.
First time I ever watched a bum fight was with you.
Yeah, what, the actual...
You had the little computer room at your mom's house.
Yeah.
And we would sit in there and watch bum fights.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a legit DVD type thing.
And then we also watched the backyard wrestling one, the one where the monkey's picking the bugs out of the monkey's hair, and he fucks him inside the face. Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Then we also watched Cradle of Filth videos.
Yeah, and I think I still might have that. I might have that same exact one. But I don't know, I kinda liked Just Incredible, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, like the roughneck, go in, use weapons.
Your original answer is Triple H, which, coming off of that time period, he had that feud with Cactus Jack in 2000, and
yes,
they tore the fucking house down.
It was amazing.
So I can see why that stays in the same genre of what you're talking about.
Yeah, and my favorite WWE promo kind of goes right off of that. It was the right before that match where they had the street fight.
The one in Madison Square Garden where he did the pile driver?
Yeah.
Through the table?
Yeah, but the promo right before where it was up on the screen.
And he was Mankind and Cactus Jack,
Yeah, that one right there, Dude Love, yeah.
Mankind, my main mandible.
Yeah, my favorite promo ever.
So, going off of that, talking about hardcore wrestling and stuff like that, what in your opinion is your favorite concept match?
See, and I can't just say tables, ladders, and chairs. Because my chairs have to be wrapped in certain stuff. So I would go along like maybe a street fight or just something extreme where you can kind of use whatever you want.
Or how about your original answer, which is all of them? Because your original answer is 3 Stages of Hell.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done one of those matches.
No, we don't do them often.
Yeah, I haven't done one.
Well, on that subject, what's the hardest weapon shot you've ever received?
Oh. There's so many to choose from.
Especially now that you've wrestled Brady.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad. I don't know. I'd probably say the keyboard nowadays. That keyboard shot was...
I bet.
Was pretty rough.
Yeah, I bet. Your original answer was the wood from Chris Jones, which was wasn't even meant to happen. So.
Yeah.
So where do you see Psycore and XCW 6 months from now?
You know some of my favorite movies? Back from the 90s.
Psycho and Core?
Called Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I might just leave them on one.
Okay.
I just leave them on one.
You said XCW champion last time, but you can't say that because you are. So...
See?
I guess you'll still be XCW champion in 6 months.
If not, I'm getting it back.
In your opinion, there's no way that this answer could be the same. Your original answer was Tommy the Man Merriman, and you were fucking correct. Who, in your opinion, is the fastest rising star in XCW right now?
Right now is Hayden.
Okay.
Hayden.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah. Now, back in the day, we had more prefix and suffix names, you know, like we had the Dark Angel Nightmare, we had Kenny Hazard Chaos, Kurt Genocide Acid. So the answers back in the day were more off of that.
Right.
But the question is, what in your opinion is the best name in XCW? And it doesn't have to be that, because we don't really do the prefix suffix thing much these days. But that was the hot thing back then.
Yeah, which is funny because I've never had a prefix suffix.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because even back when you came out to Cocky, it was just Fletch.
Mm-hmm. I've never really had one either.
That is because you are the virus.
Well,
Fletch.
yeah, but I don't call my, like, that's not my call name to the ring. And like, even more so than that, I've had the moniker Company King.
Okay.
But like, and I don't necessarily mean a moniker. I mean like, what do you think is the best name?
Mm.
I mean, like mine right now. Like for some reason, I'm real big on one word names for some reason. Like I love Cynical, Corruption, Crisis, Carnage, Psycore. Like I think it's unique, but like for some reason, one name that really stands out to me, and it's one that I actually worked really hard on making the name, was Hayden Vex. That was a name that I put a lot of thought into. So.
Okay. You know, see, because some of the people, I mean, as a made-up name, as a completely made-up name, probably Brogan.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because it has the moniker as well.
Him and I put a lot into making that name too. I mean, a lot of research on Irish names and like what those things mean, and like we've had some guys in the last couple of years that's come in and like we really did our research on what the names meant and all that stuff, you know, and it didn't really pan out. But your original answer was Nightmare, played on the Dark Angel Nightmare.
Right.
This one you may not have an answer for because you may not know everybody who's in, but who do you think that should be in the Hall of Fame that's not? Your original answer is Cynical, which is in the Hall of Fame now.
Man.
Maybe we could change it up a little bit, and you can say who from the current roster do you think is like a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I mean, I don't know if they're in there or not, but I'm going to say Void.
Void is not.
I'm going to say Void. Because he's been around, reliable, helps.
Absolutely.
And he goes
former XCW champion, former Money in the Bank winner, international, extreme. I mean, he's done it all.
Yeah, and he busts his ass in there.
I agree.
Every time.
I agree. Your original answer, like I said, was Cynical. Obviously, extremely deserving.
Yeah.
What theme song has gotten you the most pumped in your career? You've had quite a few, and even a couple in the last year or so. Thanks, you two.
Yeah.
But out of all those themes, the non-points, the corn, all of the songs you've had, what in your opinion was just like the go-getter?
Probably Omerta. Because right after that phrase hit, you knew what was happening.
Yep. Your original answer was Wake Up Hate, which was like a hot song at the time. So
well, back then
I love the Untouchables album, by the way.
Back then, it did not take much to rile me up.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, kind of mature and slowing down a little bit. That's kind of what did it.
Yeah. What do you prefer, babyface or heel?
Heel.
That's the correct answer. That's the only answer.
Yeah.
Were you ever camera shy?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I actually was not. I'm a camera hog, so. But yeah, that answer matches up.
I was one of the people that I like to be center of attention, but not taped.
Right.
Like, I don't want it taped, but I can make everybody in the room laugh.
Me, on the other hand, it was all eyes on me, and if there was a camera, it was even better. I like big butts.
I wish there was a camera for that one.
Shit.
That was good.
Did you have any wrestling experience before coming to XCW?
Well, me and my brother tended to make like the recorded tapes that you have to put into a big VHS to then play.
Yeah, that's what our original. They're the 8mm, and then there's high 8, and they go. Yeah.
Yep. We made wrestling montages downstairs, and I tell you what, if I would have had this tape, you would have still loved me for it today because I took one of the best Sweet Chin musics over a can of paint right on to concrete. I mean, feet out and everything. It was great.
Your original answer was school wrestling. I think you did a little bit.
I did a little bit.
Yeah.
Enough to fight, the coach's daughter. And how do you wrestle the coach's daughter? I was raised, you don't put your hands on women. So I'm kind of like laying there. She's on top of me. And I look over to my mom like, Ma, look, no hands. What do I do? Like, you've never told me to do this.
It was better than your first one. We're not going to go there.
Actually, that one would have been my first one.
All right. So, who are you trained by upon your arrival in XCW?
Back in the day, it was mainly you and Roddy.
Yeah.
As far as training went.
Yeah. I think at one point, like, Hazard made everybody, like, take a jog around the fucking high school. Were you there for that?
I was never around for the jogs.
Good thing. That was fucking miserable, even for me watching the guy.
Now, do you really think Hazard could get me to run? If I told him no,
the funny thing is, Hazard make people run, and I've never seen him run. So, no, I take that back. He was in football.
But yeah, I did see that because I was in football practice.
Right, yeah. Your original answer was no one, which is kind of true. We kind of self-trained back then.
Yeah.
What was the best team or stable that you've ever seen in XCW? There's been a lot. There's been Royalty, which you were part of. VK2, VK3, Untouchables, EBW.
I liked Shelbyville Heat.
Myself and Chris Jones.
Yes.
Yeah, and you were in the early Shelbyville Heat, the three of us. Yep. Your original answer was the Dancing Trio.
Oh!
Chris, Genocide, and Hazard.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hazard doing the Blue Meanie.
Yes.
Who from XCW, and this is obviously going to change, but you can do it as an overall, not current day. Who do you just personally not like in XCW?
I'm not a big fan of DJ. Not as a person, I don't think. But there's just something about him I can't get into. The lipstick, the hair is just ridiculous to me.
Although, your brother was kind of DJ from the early 2000s.
Yeah, but
him and Kim were like...
Oh. Yeah.
Maybe that's why you don't like it. Brings up those bad
Maybe
memories.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Your original answer, I 100% agree with. It's Elizabeth.
Oh, I still hate her.
Yeah. What's the best storyline in XCW history, in your opinion?
I'm gonna say I liked it when Tommy took Princess.
That was big. People still talk about the dog shit to this day.
Yep.
That was I think that was one of our first super major storylines that I can recall. Your original answer was Nightmare Abducted Emily.
Yeah, okay. I remember that.
Who was the best rivalry in XCW history, in your opinion? There's been a lot of rivalries. I mean, there's been the XW versus EBWs. There's been, Corey Lee and Brandon Hobbs. There's been Corey Lee and Hazard and myself and Chris Jones, Cynical Chris Jones. There's a lot.
I'm going with Cynical Chris Jones.
I agree. You can actually go to our official YouTube right now and watch XCW's 15 All-Time Awards, and that one for Best Overall Rivalry in XCW history of the 15 years. Your original answer was a little different, myself and Cynical, which was actually the feud at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time of your original one.
And honestly, it's probably because both of you guys are really good promo guys.
And you said it was your favorite people to watch.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
What do you think was XW's best location? I mean, we've moved all over this fucking town in the past 20 years. What stands out as your all-time favorite?
I mean, I would have to say Zach's.
Really? didn't even have a bathroom there.
Hey, I don't need to flush.
Alright.
You know, I can go in a bush.
That house is hazardous now. One match and that motherfucker's gone.
But I mean, as the spot itself is what I'm going on.
Yeah, I get that. I
It's just
actually
open.
don't. I don't for that reason because
The wind.
you lose a lot of sound.
Yeah.
Not be like here it's more intimate. The ring's closer. You get more off of it. It's easier to pick up sound. So actually, that was one of my least favorite places.
I liked the spot for the spot, like having that extra room.
Mm-hmm.
But for here, I mean, it's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I get it. Your original answer was the Luther House.
Yeah.
Which is where we were present day as of your original. What kind of legacy do you think you're going to leave behind once you're no longer in XCW?
Probably none, because I get looked over for a lot of shit. For everything I've done, I get looked over for a lot of shit.
Really? Because your original answer is you think people will never forget you. People are always going to remember Psycore.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm trying here.
All right.
This is just the notes I've taken over the last, 12 years.
Okay. What kind of legacy do you think the company as a whole is going to take on? I mean, you got to admit, especially from like 04, which was our second season when we debuted,
God.
to what it is today and how many subscribers we have and all the eyeballs that are on us these days and all that and everything that it's come to, like, it's got a legacy of its own now. So what kind of legacy do you think it's going to leave once XCW's gone?
Well, to keep it completely real, regardless of how many subscribers, viewers, whatever we have, we've always made the product no matter what.
Sure.
So I don't think the subscribers and stuff's really what puts us there because
I get that. I'm just saying, like overall, like it just shows how much it's grown from.
Yeah.
From back then, we did it for self-enjoyment, and
Yeah.
now, I mean, we're sharing it with the world, and it's. I mean, we're being watched in Tijuana, Mexico.
Don't give up my connection. So, yeah, I mean, it's still going to go on.
Yeah.
I mean, my oldest son, Aiden's already talking about when he's going to get in the ring.
It very well could happen.
Could you imagine a Psychette?
Hey, my son, I mean, when they asked him what he wanted to be in school, he said a wrestler, and I mean, he's drawing pictures of himself coming down the ramp with the pyro, like we got that one show and stuff. Like, this may never end.
Yeah. If we teach them everything we know, maybe they'll move on and they can support us.
I hope so. How has XCW impacted your life? I mean, almost 20 years you've given to this company. So, how has that impacted you personally?
Well, it's impacted me in a few different ways. It impacted my teeth, my shoulder, my back. But upon all those things...
No, that was just on impact.
Yes, on all three.
Yeah.
What was the question?
What kind of impact has it left on your life?
That kind, where you forget everything you're going to say 2 seconds before you say it.
Okay. Your original answer was friends.
And I still have those.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, what's the best thing that comes out of XCW for you personally? Like, what really just, what gratifying thing do you get from being here?
Well, one is I do get to be around all my friends.
Yeah, and that was your original answer.
So, I mean, I like going out there putting on quality product. Mm-hmm. Then being able to re-watch it and kind of critique it myself, because that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And then going back out there and seeing if I made the same mistakes. I really like doing that.
Now, what's that's the best thing that's come out of you, for you personally, on a personal level. But what about you as an in-ring character, as a wrestler? What is your proudest achievement in XCW today?
Still being around. There were times.
Longevity.
Yeah. You know, I didn't know if I was going to be alive past 18. And I'm here, 32.
I mean, 18 were wrecking cars and the Jeeps.
Yeah.
Going to school, so.
Yeah, and the railroad tracks.
Story for another time, folks.
Yeah. And you were in the car both times.
I was also in the car the time that you pissed on a trash can. Your original answer was XCW champion, which you are now a 2-time XCW champion.
Yes.
Now, where did you come? We talked about this already. We can kind of brief over it real quick. Where did your name and gimmick come from?
Yeah.
Core, Psycore,
and the gimmick.
Psycho.
I've always been into combat competition.
Sure.
So
originally started out as a boxer. We had some boxing gloves. We're like, hey, this will work. And UFC really wasn't a thing then. Like UFC was around, but like, I mean, you had Tank Abbott and Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock in the early days, before Ultimate Fighter turned it into this fucking global phenomenon.
Which is crazy because everything that everybody says about the UFC and stuff is always after when I started watching it. Now you have to this stuff came to be about in 92.
Right.
I was 3.
Yeah.
And I was watching MMA.
I mean, I think Pride UFC, they started. I want to say for some reason 95 comes to mind as UFC's launch. I don't know why. I know Ken Shamrock didn't come to WWE until 97, and he was already a multi-time UFC champion.
Yeah, it was 92, 93, 94. Maybe?
Yeah, and then Severn came in after Shamrock. Severn was in WWE in 97.
Then you had
late
Pride
97,
hit.
Early 98.
Then you had Pride hit.
And then Abbott and Kimbo and all those guys came in 99.
Oh,
and
Kimbo
then,
went around for a long time.
Nah, he was around pretty early.
Oh no.
Before it really blew up.
Okay, so this tells me.
Because, I mean, the first big UFC superstar that comes to my mind, other than the days of Shamrock, Severn, yada, 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 would have been, Liddell.
Yeah, you're right on track with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's when, it skyrocketed from there.
Because everybody started watching, the rivalries, which goes back into our stuff, You had Couture and Liddell, and that just kind of brought everybody else.
Right.
Nobody else saw the big sumo guy get his teeth kicked out of his mouth in UFC 1, I believe.
It was a little more roughneck back then, too.
Oh, yeah, there was no weight class, no gloves,
it was a backyard brawl style.
Yeah, you punch each other in the balls and they just say, okay, let it go. I guess.
Now, with that being said, on the flip side, the wrestling side of things, what do you say to those people who say that wrestling is fake?
And I've said this recently. Somebody said that wrestling was fake. I just told them to meet me here and I'll give them a couple moves on the ring and they can tell me if it's fake.
It's a universal answer.
And guess what?
It's always the same answer.
Guess what? They didn't show up.
Yeah.
It's probably because they were 70. But once you tell me that wrestling's fake and I've already hurt myself doing it and,
right.
Don't tell me it's fake.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll break your hip too.
Well, this has been a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
It's been an awful lot of fun revisiting this and going down all your past answers, your new answers, and a lot about your history. It's a damn documentary without the footage.
I could do it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. But that is all the time that we have here on Freetime Interview. He is Psycore. I am Fletch. We will see you next time here on XCW Freetime Interview.